What would you do if a group of grown men mocked a child for the color of his skin? Right in the middle of a restaurant. Would you step in? Would you even notice? Or would you witness something so powerful, so unexpected, that it would change the way you see the world, forever? This is the story of a boy named Elijah, and how his quiet strength lit a fire in the hearts of everyone around him. It was a warm Sunday afternoon in a small diner tucked off Route 78, just outside a quiet Midwestern town. The place had that rustic charm: checkered curtains, faded leather booths, and the smell of fresh pie and sizzling bacon clinging to the air. Inside sat Elijah, a 12-year-old black boy with wide, curious eyes and a sketchpad cradled in his lap. He wasn't loud, wasn't causing trouble. Just waiting patiently while his grandmother, Miss Irene, placed their order: 2 burgers, extra onions, and 1 large chocolate milkshake. They always shared it. Elijah loved drawing people, capturing their expressions. That day, he had just begun sketching a waitress who reminded him of his favorite teacher. But then, the bell over the door rang. A group of 5 leather-clad bikers stomped in, bearded, loud, their boots echoing like thunder across the tiled floor. They carried an air that pulled everyone's attention, the kind of presence that demanded silence and fear. You know the type. One of them, Tank as his jacket read, locked eyes with Elijah and smirked. "What's this? A little artist?" he scoffed, voice loud enough for the whole diner to hear. "Bet he draws himself into superhero comics just to feel special." Laughter erupted from the table of bikers. The waitress flinched. Miss Irene stiffened. But Elijah didn't look up. "You deaf boy," another one sneered. "Or too stuck up to answer your elders." Miss Irene stood up slowly. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was calm. "He's drawing because he sees beauty in the world, even when some people make it hard to see." The room held its breath. Elijah still didn't speak. Tank narrowed his eyes. "Lady, no offense, but maybe teach your grandson some manners before someone else does." Elijah finally looked up. "You don't scare me," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "But I'm sorry you're so angry." That silenced even the bikers for a beat. A young waitress, Sarah, came over. She looked barely 20 and new to the job. Her hands shook as she poured water for the bikers. She leaned down and whispered to Elijah, "You okay, sweetheart?" He nodded. "They don't matter. I know who I am." Sarah smiled, touched his shoulder and walked away. That single act of quiet solidarity changed everything. Elijah returned to his sketchpad. But this time he drew them, the bikers. Not mocking, not cruel. He drew what he imagined they could be. Kind, powerful, better. By the time the food arrived, he had finished Tank's portrait, sitting with a little girl on his lap, smiling under a tree. He tore it from his pad, stood, and walked over to the biker's table. "This is for you," he said, holding it out to Tank. The man blinked, confused. "You don't have to be scary," Elijah continued. "You could be something good. I think everyone has that in them." Tank took the paper. His grizzled hand trembled. Nobody spoke. One of the bikers muttered, "What the hell, man?" But Tank said nothing, just stared at the drawing. While the diner held its awkward silence, the camera would pull us into a quiet monologue, giving us a glimpse into Elijah's world. His past. His father had been an art teacher before he passed away in a car accident 2 years earlier. He used to tell Elijah, "We don't fight hate with fists. We erase it with love, son. One sketch at a time." Elijah had taken those words to heart. And Irene, his grandmother, had stepped in, raising him alone. "Don't let this world turn your heart cold," she'd whisper each night. "You keep drawing. Keep believing." Tank sat silent for nearly 5 minutes. Then quietly he stood. He walked over to Elijah and knelt. Yes, knelt before him. "I used to have a daughter," he said softly. "She loved to draw too. Haven't seen her in years. I don't know why I came at you like that, kid. Maybe I was just looking for someone to hurt. I'm sorry." A hush swept over the diner. Elijah nodded. It's okay. I hope you find her again. Tank looked down, eyes glassy. And then, it happened. Sarah brought over a fresh milkshake, topped with whipped cream and a cherry. She placed it in front of Elijah with a quiet smile. On the house. Then, an older gentleman in a plaid jacket stood up from his booth. I don't know you, son, he said to Tank. But if that boy believes in you, maybe we all should. One by one people clapped. Not a roar. Not thunderous. Just a soft, steady sound like healing. The bikers stayed quiet for the rest of their meal. When they left, Tank turned once more and raised the drawing. Don't stop doing this, kid. You're gonna change more than you know. And Elijah did keep drawing. Weeks passed. Then one day, a letter arrived at Miss Irene's door. No return address, just a folded paper. Inside was a photo of Tank, this time real, smiling beside a young girl with braids. On the back, found her. Thanks to you. Hope to earn her back. Keep sketching the world better than it is. Elijah's story made it to the local news, and then the national networks. But he never chased fame. He just kept sketching. He started a kindness club at school. Change by chalk. Every week, they'd go to local spots, draw portraits for strangers, and write one good thing about them underneath. People started smiling more, talking more, even hugging. One boy, one moment, one act of radical kindness had sparked a movement. The camera fades back to the diner. Elijah, now a little taller, a little older, sits in the same booth, a new sketchpad in hand. Irene beside him, smiling with pride. Across the wall now hangs a framed drawing, the one Elijah gave Tank. The owner had asked if he could display it. Underneath it, a sign reads, "Be the sketch of the good the world forgets." Can you imagine what the world would look like if we all saw each other like Elijah does? Would we judge less? Would we love more? Would we dare to be kind? If this story touched your heart, don't scroll just yet. Hit the like button, subscribe for more stories that remind us who we can be, and drop a comment below. Speech balloon, what's one act of kindness someone showed you that you've never forgotten? And if you think Elijah's story needs to be heard, share this video. Be the reason someone still believes in goodness today.